Oh no. Like, was I supposed to say yes? Like, this is the part where it got kind of weird.
So much transpired. I'm not going to let anything that she says or does, because she has no idea what's about to happen.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Alyssa and you're watching Wonderful Acts. On this channel, I talk about the wonderful act of God, and I have brought with me the most wonderful act of God in my life, outside of my children, of course. And it is Sudan. Are you more important than my children?
They only gonna be with us for 18 years.
The most wonderful act in my life, which is Sudan, the man of God. And he's here to share with you guys how he proposed, which is a story that we have never ever told. I've never told it. God did something really crazy in it. So make sure you stay to the end to just see how wonderful God is, how he will confirm the man or the woman that he has for you. At least he did for me by his grace. So we're going to share that story.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yay. So we're going to start. We decided, we kind of talked this over beforehand with us finishing marriage prep. That's kind of where it went. We dated for almost a year, maybe like 10 months, and then did marriage prep. Or no, it had to be less than that, but we started dating in November.
Marriage
and then
prep
the
started
following
in September.
year in September, we started doing marriage prep.
And it was probably like a 10 weeks or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
So we did marriage prep. And then after marriage prep, we were supposed to get either a green, yellow, or red light. Green means go, Yellow means pump the brakes, slow it down a little bit. And red means y'all might need to stop. and we knew people who got reds. I actually know somebody who got a red. But anyways, I was confident we were getting green. And then our marriage prep couple actually said that we were yellow. And I was like, oh. And then hindsight, I can completely see and understand why they gave us a yellow. Because it had to do with communication, which has been a huge challenge in marriage. We probably should have worked on beforehand. But anyways, all that to say is before we even started dating, like right when we first started dating or courting, and you can go watch videos that we did about our courtship and stuff like that. We had said we would only date for like a year and then get engaged if that's what God was telling us to do. And so we were coming up on that 1 year mark and we got the yellow. And I kind of was really discouraged because I really wanted a Christmas proposal because Christmas was special to me. And I really wanted to be engaged by the end of the year. So I remember us getting the yellow. I remember him calling me and telling me basically that we weren't going to get engaged. And I was pretty distraught. And then that is where I guess it took, because in my head, I thought we weren't getting engaged anymore. And I was sad and mad about it.
Yeah. I mean, and that was me seeking counsel. Like, honestly, I had spoken to a couple men and, shared with them the results of marriage prep. And then also kind of where I was, I had just started practicing pharmacy and was just trying to get financially stable and steward my resources. God blessed me with a job. And I was like kind of working a couple different things all out at once. And I didn't want to just immediately, go out and overextend myself financially because I finally felt like I was getting footing, just graduating from school and everything like that. So after seeking counsel, the feedback that I got was like, hey, you got to be honest, about what you are experiencing and share it with her. And that ultimately ended up in us having a conversation where I told her, like, look, I know we had discussed this earlier in the year, but it's not something that I want to, it was like we had discussed it earlier in the year and I didn't want to violate the expectation, but I knew that I was going to have to like reset your expectation because I didn't want to overextend myself. You know what I mean? Like I had faith to believe that God could do something, but it just wasn't really looking like it was going to happen in the time frame that we wanted it to. And so I had to break that news to you and you were not happy about it.
I was not happy about it, but he ended up proposing. So how did that? So I guess because then after that conversation, the conversation happened, I want to say in like November or something like that. And then, and another thing he said on the call, or you had said at some point, you were like, you wanted to ask my dad.
Oh yeah.
To
for your hand in
marriage. And I was like, well, he's not going to see my dad like before Christmas. So he's not going to propose. But then something must have happened because he did end up proposing on Christmas Eve. So now you can tell your story about how the proposal part and how that came to be.
Yeah, so I did want to talk to your dad. I wanted to be respectful. I was hoping that we were going to be able to like have that conversation in person, but we weren't. But I was still building a relationship with him because, we're not in the same city, and we were actually able to have a conversation. I can't remember if he reached out to me, but it was really a point where I felt like I needed to let him know what my intentions were as it related to being engaged. We had talked that summer, and we had pretty good relationship to where I felt like I could have that call. And yeah, we talked just in general. And actually, I remember what it was. It was my birthday.
When you called him?
He called me for my birthday. And because it was my birthday, he was like, just like, happy birthday, blah, 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 blah. And on that call, that's when we ended up having a real in-depth conversation about how I felt like I wanted to propose to Alyssa and I wanted his blessing. And man, he got emotional on the call, to be honest with you.
What did he say?
Yeah, he got emotional on the call. I'm not going to put him out there. But he got emotional. Aww. And he was like, yeah, I would be honored to have you propose to my daughter, to have her hand in marriage, and to take care of her, take her off my hands, please. Please. Please.
Anywho.
Yeah, so anyways, I got his blessing, and then a couple weeks later, I was in the process of trying to get the ring, and it was like a debate. Do I get the ring that I absolutely want for her to have, but right now I can't afford in the time frame that I want to get it by the time I want to propose? Or do I just get something? And I really wanted to have faith to believe that God could do both. Like, get the ring that I really wanted for her to have in the time frame that I needed to get it. But I personally did not have what it took for that to happen. So it was a challenge, and it was an opportunity for faith. So I reached out to someone that I knew, and we were able to work out a situation.
Which is a whole nother wonderful act story, where he's going to share about how he got the ring. So especially to my fellas watching this, or even my ladies who want to know, because God did a whole wonderful act in him getting the ring.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So that's going to be the next video. So make sure you like and subscribe to the channel.
I was able to secure the ring, and I know I was going to need some support for the proposal. So I had this great plan. I'm a huge James Bond fan. Ever since I was a little kid, it was a video game on Nintendo, the James Bond GoldenEye. You remember that game?
No.
Okay, anyways. So I was a big James Bond fan. I loved like the fact that it was like action and he was like smooth with it and everything like that. And so in my mind, I was thinking, how can I get Alyssa to dress up really nice, to, get her hair done, nails done, everything done.
Everything did.
And be completely blindsided when I asked for her hand in marriage. And so I knew that we were coming up on Christmas and we were going to be celebrating Christmas with my family. But I was surprising my family. They didn't know that we were coming. So what I did was I flipped it on Alyssa to where I had her believing that we were going to surprise my family for Christmas. We were going to drive down on Christmas Eve. But I told her, like, let's go on like a James Bond 007 mission, because that's how I felt. I was like, man, we're going to surprise him. It's going to be like that. And she was all for it. She's like, I got to go get a dress. I get to dress up, get my hair done, blah, blah, blah.
And something should have tipped me off, because he was like, oh, yeah, I'll give you money to like go get your nails done or whatever, which is something. I mean, he did take care of me and pamper me in courtship. But he had never done something like that, but I was just like, okay, sure, I'll take some money. Honey.
Well, yeah, I had reached out to her friends about the engagement ring, and, I just knew that was a thing. Like, whenever you propose, you want to make sure that her nails are done so that, exactly, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So anyways, I knew on the road from D.C. to Virginia Beach, where I'm from, shout out 757, there is rest stops along the way, and the rest stops actually have the motto for Virginia, which is Virginia is for lovers. So they have these different statues and signs that are up that say love on them or something like that. And we had gone down to Virginia Beach before and stopped at this rest stop. So I reached out to any friends or family that were either in Virginia and willing to like drive up to this rest stop, or in DC willing to drive down to this rest stop to be a part of the proposal. And I knew it was during the holidays and most people, you know, were going to have to be with family or not willing. But I just put that out there. Mm-hmm. So I created this whole concept for the proposal themed around James Bond. And so some people actually said that they were going to be able to come. I told them kind of what the plan was. I told Alyssa what the plan was. We rented a car and we drove down to Virginia.
And you drew like a cute little map that you sent to people.
Yeah. I had a whole plan. Yeah, I do. I can give it to you. Yeah, I had a whole plan of like the rest stop, like how it's set up, where I wanted people to park their cars, and like how to set up this whole kind of thing. I had like candles in the shape of a heart next to this love sign, and the whole thing was the James Bond movie Diamonds Are Forever. And you know, because we're getting engaged and it's a diamond ring, so it was playing on all that. I was like getting all my creative juices flowing on that. And so that was essentially what it was. I had people meet us there, and I had her tied in. She didn't know what was going on. My family knew we were coming, but she didn't know that they knew we were coming. And it just was like everything was lining up except for one thing: the weather.
Oh, I was like, what? Yeah.
The weather was terrible.
So I want to back up a little bit from my side. So yeah, I remember I got my hair done and I got it straightened in DC on the East Coast with the humidity and the rain. So it definitely was frizzing up. I found this cute black dress from like a thrift shop or something like that. I got my nails done, you know, packed our bag, ready to go on the trip. Yeah, it was raining. And this is the thing, y'all, because I was doing this all like last minute, like literally the day of, or the day before, or I think it was like the day of.
It was the day of.
We left late and I was hungry. I was literally starving because I didn't even eat that day. And so this is like, this was Christmas Eve. This is Christmas Eve. So there's like nothing open or everything is shutting down mad early. And like we're again on the highway in the middle of Virginia where we don't even know what restaurants are where. So I was like mad hangry, like super hangry, super grumpy. We went somewhere and it was closed.
It was Famous Dave's Barbecue.
No, I think that's where we ended up eating.
Oh, so we tried to go somewhere else.
We tried to go somewhere else on the
like,
GPS. You know, Google don't always know if the place is open or not, and it wasn't. So I was extra mad. Then we ended up at Famous Dave's and ate there. And I don't know. I was just in a really funky mood. Like, I really don't remember all the details, but I just remember I was in like a horrible mood. And I was just like, this is just not going how I like wanted this trip to go. And we were listening to, shout out to Travis Green, shout out to him, but his album, The Hill, which is, I still feel like one of my favorite Christian albums of all time, gospel albums ever. And we were listening to that album because it had just dropped recently. And
it was so good.
So good. So we were just listening to it. And me and Sudan have always bonded on music and worship. And he has a song called Thank You for Being God. And it's just like, you're too big for error. You're too wise for mistakes. You are the one true God. And it's like, you love me when no one else could or would. You kept me when no one else could. Thank you for being God. And I don't know, the lyrics, that song always gets me, y'all. But the lyrics just in the moment in the car, I remember we were like worshiping. I was like crying. He's like, it was raining. He was flying on the highway
because we were so late. Fast. I had told these people to meet me at this rest stop.
But I was literally like, why are you driving so fast? We're going to get in an accident. Like the roads are slippery. Like, we were like an hour and a half.
She don't have no idea.
I don't, you know.
And she's like, oh man, it was
a lot.
It was a lot.
I feel like
and I'm like, she has no idea. Like the engagement story, like you said, I mean, the ring story is like a whole separate, like so much transpired. And it was just like, I'm not going to let anything that she says or does, because she has no idea what's about to happen and what has already happened up until this point. I had
no idea.
To take away from what's about to happen.
Yeah. And so then, after all that, we get to the rest stop. And then I had to go to the bathroom. And again, I had like mascara like running down my face. I remember I was like a hot mess at this point. I went into the restroom, went to the bath. Oh, and then he started talking about his stomach was hurting.
Yeah, so basically I was trying to discreetly text people like while I'm driving. Shouldn't have been doing that.
Again, like in the rain,
we're 5 stops away from this rest stop. We're 2 stops away because like, again, people are meeting us there. And they're probably like sitting in the car, we running late. So as we got closer, my idea was to say like I was having an upset stomach. Like, man, my stomach's not right, which is going to force us to get off of the road and go to this rest stop. And that's where we had everything set up. You know, when we go into the bathroom, I texted everybody in the bathroom, like, okay, go set up everything for the proposal. So it was wet. They put like a towel down where I was going to put my knee down. And then they set up like all in the shape of a heart, like these candles. And, you know, they had like some Martinelli's, sparkling grape, whatever. And it was just like, there was some preparation that needed to take place while we were in the bathroom. So I was just basically setting her up for my stomach issues so that we could get off the highway, but then also that I would take a long time in the bathroom and she would be waiting for me in the lobby area while all of this setup was kind of taking place. And so I came out the bathroom.
You tell the story.
And yeah, when I came out the bathroom, she was like, is everything okay? Like, did everything come out all right or whatever? And I was like, yeah, man, you know, and I basically was telling her, like, I was like, like, if I were to die tonight, you know, what would you do without me?
And it was weird because we were, this is the part where it got kind of weird. Because in the car, you had said something too, like, let's make up fake names or like, let's try to be in character. Like, we're spies on a mission. So I feel like I was like Charlotte or something or Samantha or something like that. And so we were just, I don't know, we're doing all
just
this thing.
Silly.
So then, and y'all know me, I'm like fun. So I like stuff like that. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, you know, I'll go with the flow. So we're doing that, but then, but I guess we're at the bathroom. And we come out the bathroom, and he's literally like, "What would you do if I was to die?" I'm just like, "What are you talking about?" And I didn't know what he was really talking about, and I'm trying to figure it out. But
so I was kind of nervous, but at the same time, I'm trying to like, you know, stay in character and go along with this whole thing with my stomach, right? Like, man, like, you know, I don't know what's wrong with my stomach. This could be really serious. You know, I don't know what's going on. And so we basically, like, I'm telling her, like, you know, if I were to die tonight, you know, what would you do without me? How would you remember me? Like, you know what I mean? Will you love me forever?
Yeah, like all
you know,
types of
stuff like this. And then as we're walking out of the rest stop, I had a friend in the car and they had queued up
the music,
the James Bond theme song for Diamonds Are Forever. So they're playing out their car speaker with the doors open, Diamonds Are Forever. And I'm acting like my stomach's hurting and like I'm about to die. And you know what I mean? Just like making like the end of a James Bond movie or something. Like I got, you know, poisoned or something. And, you know, I need her to come with me to help finish this mission off. And then we pull up to the love sign.
Well, yeah, so from a distance when we're walking up, I noticed there were like candles out in like the shape of a heart in front of the love sign. And I think that was the first thing I saw. Well, the first thing I saw was probably the towel on the ground. Because I was like, why is there a towel?
Because it was wet, man. I didn't want to mess up my suit, huh?
So you see the love sign. And we had already said, I think maybe we had already said, like, oh, let's take a picture in front of the sign.
Yeah.
So when we were coming out, I'm looking to the sign because I'm thinking we're going to go take a picture over there. And then now I notice like, oh, there's something on the ground over there. And it's like a towel. And then I'm like, oh, there's like candles in the shape of a heart. And then I think I heard the music and I like turned and heard the music. And then I think that's when I saw like
people had hopped
Anna,
out the car.
I don't know if they had out of the car yet, but then that's when you kind of changed and then you like pulled me over there. And then I was like, hold up, like what's going on? Look at your face.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And then I don't even honestly remember what you said after that point, other than you got down on one knee and asked me to marry you.
Yeah, I pretty much got down on one knee and I asked you to marry me. I was like, you know, I love you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. And, you know, will you marry me?
Yeah.
And I pulled out the ring.
And the ring, yeah.
And I got a yes.
Oh yeah. Well, I was in complete shock. I remember literally like shock factor mode because I was so confused, didn't know what was happening. I was all emotional, and it was just like, what? Because again, in my head, he told me like we're not getting engaged. Like,
yeah.
He didn't talk to my dad. In my head, I'm like, he didn't talk to my dad. We got the yellow light. Like, he told me he couldn't, like, financially, it wasn't going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't really expecting it. So when it happened, I was literally, like, completely just in shock. I remember the ring was literally like, blue, 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 like sparkling all in the box.
Right,
exactly. But it looked so pretty underneath the lights because it was dark. It was like, it was nighttime.
Moonlight.
Yeah. So it was literally like, we're out in the wide open sky with just the moon and the stars. And he proposed, and then I remember like freezing, kind of like a deer in headlights, because I didn't know what to do at first. And then I said yes, and then he put the ring on, and then I looked over, and then it was like all these people who I didn't even know were there, and I was like,
they held it down.
What? And then my best friend, one of my best friends, Tawana, was there.
Shout out Tawana.
And she helped me feel a little bit better because I was just
Latoya,
like, Latoya was there. Fred was there.
Anna. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was just kind of like, for me though, I was legit in shock. You know how some women start like crying and stuff like that? Like, I wasn't one of those women. I was just literally like frozen. But yeah. And then he said yes, or I said yes. But then afterwards, like I said, I kind of started freaking out because I just wasn't expecting, even though I was happy, like we hugged, we kissed.
No, we didn't kiss, babe.
Oh, no, we didn't kiss. We didn't kiss to the wedding day. That's a whole other video. But I remember we hugged, and we have pictures, which I'll put up here and show y'all. We don't have a lot, but I know we have some because, again, it was dark outside. But what I wanted to say, again, what I hinted at in the beginning of the video was, like I said, I was legit like in shock. And I remember asking the Holy Spirit, I was like, oh no, like, was I supposed to say yes? Like, God, I didn't ask you if I should say yes, because y'all know me and my relationship with Jesus. And I was just like, was I supposed to say yes? Like, I said yes, I didn't ask you I was supposed to say yes.
Now, mind you, after all of this, telling her, calling her in advance, telling her, hey, this ain't gonna play out, me going out in faith, believing God that it could happen, and by the grace of God, it happened. All of the stress of that day of, running late, rain, bubble guts, didn't really have a bubble guts, but, setting it up, going along. Now she talking about, was I supposed to say yes?
Well, I didn't tell him that. This was an internal conversation between me and Jesus. How did you feel after you proposed?
I felt like it was done. Like, I felt like, man, thank God this thing actually like happened.
Yeah.
I felt like, I was just grateful. You know, and I felt like we still had to drive to Virginia Beach. That was a pit stop.
Yeah. And so what happened was, after that moment, I remember, again, we're hugging everybody. We're saying hi to everybody. Everybody's congratulating us. We drank the sparkling juice that he had. We took our James Bondy pictures in front of the love sign. And then as we were getting into the car, our friend Anna, who was the one taking pictures, and she had the music going out of her car, she says, you guys, look at the moon. There's a ring around the moon. And we're like, huh? You know what I'm saying? So we get out the car and we look up at the moon, and it was a full moon. And this was like the first full moon on Christmas Eve in like 50 plus years, something like that. It was like in the papers and the news, like first full moon on Christmas Eve. And I forget how many years it was. Like it was 50 plus, it was 50 to 70 years. And around the moon, I kid you not, was a humongous halo. It was literally like a ring around the moon. And I had never in my entire life, I've only seen that one other time recently, like this year we just saw it, which is a whole other story. But at that point in time, I had never, ever, ever seen that in my entire life. And I was looking up at the ring around the moon, and I felt like the Holy Spirit said to me, Alyssa, this is my covenant for you. And I just felt like the peace of God. And it was just kind of like my confirmation, like, God gave me a ring around the moon. Like, this is his covenant for me. This is his promise for me. This is what he has for me. And then after that, again, I just had peace of God.
Yeah. And for me, when we got out the car, I was just like confused. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, it's a ring around the moon. Then I look up and I saw it. And I mean, it was a full moon. So, I mean, the moon was huge. Yeah. And so the ring around the moon was huge, like so big. It really just humbled me. Because I put a lot of effort into trying to like get this ring specific. It was very like unique, running around, really trying to make sure that everything was together, planning, strategizing. And then you get this huge ring. And it's like, God was like, man, you thought you had a ring that was going to be impressive. And it was just humbling because I felt like God was like, man, this is what I'm able to do. Like, I did that for you, but I'm also, this is how big I am. This is how awesome I am. And so that was my takeaway when I saw the halo around the moon. It was humbling for me. I was like, man, I thought I had the juice, but God is great.
You did have the juice, babe. Yeah. You did a great job. And so that was that's our proposal story. That's how, and then we got back in the car and continued driving down. And his mom had like food prepared for us, and she had like gifts for us. And so that was really nice. We got in late. It was like after midnight, or it was really late. But yeah, so God is so good. Yep. And it was a Christmas Eve proposal, which is what I always wanted, because God has just done so much for me on Christmas Eve. Obviously, Christmas representing the birth of Jesus. We know he wasn't actually born on Christmas, y'all, but we can celebrate his birth around that time of year. So it just had special, significant meaning to me. Mm-hmm. He worked really hard to get that done for me, because that's what I wanted. Again, in hindsight, I'm like, I was very much like, I wanted what I wanted, and that was it. But he proved his love for me in so many ways, and that was just one of them. So thank you, babe, for making my engagement special.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah,
so if y'all want to see, our kids just woke up from their nap. They coming now. A result of the proposal.
Wow, look at that
literally
timing.
Right on time.
Come here.
Come
to Papa.
Come. She wanted to come to Mama. Here we go.
That's okay. You can get over there. Come here, Glow.
So now we got 2 whole babies and a 3rd on the way.
Correct.
So if you like this video, you want to see more content about the wonderful acts of God, make sure you like, subscribe, share this with a friend. Especially if you believe in God for your own engagement or proposal story. Again, the next video, Lord willing, we're going to do will be how he got the ring. So he's going to share a special wonderful act story about that, because that was crazy and that was his whole thing. But yeah, God is able to do exceedingly and abundantly above all you can think, ask, or imagine. So love you guys, and see you next video.
Peace.
All right. Did you poop?
Oh, you pooped.